All right, welcome back, guys, to the Off Topic podcast. Not exactly sure the episode. Probably should have checked before I did this intro, but it's at least episode late 20s, so we're getting close to episode 30. I'm sure you guys are wondering where we've been for the last little bit. Nothing's really come out, so we decided we were gonna be very busy and just work our asses off, and now we're back. So, of course, we have a new guest. Uh, Bill, you want to just introduce yourself first before you get into us?
My name's Bill Daley. I've been a member of MCU Fans Assemble for about 2 years now, and um, had a lot of really great interactions with a lot of the mods. They extended the invitation for me to join the group, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'm always down to discuss Marvel or really anything," I'm sure we'll get into in this podcast. And yeah, it's been a pretty good experience being part of the group, and just glad to be here.
Awesome. And then, of course, as usual, I am Tom. You can find me on the Facebook group as well, MCU Fans Assemble, and also out on Twitter at tsteinman13. That's two N's on Steinman, and probably a lot of hot takes. I'm just kidding. I don't have that many hot takes. They're pretty cold. But yeah, of course, also joined by Chris.
Hello, yes, good to be back. You can get me on the Facebook and on Twitter at bag1982. That's bag with two G's. But yes, hook up with me on Twitter.
Awesome. And of course, Zach couldn't be here this week, unfortunately. Uh, Hopefully, he'll be back next week. We're waiting to see on that. And we do have another member that will be joining the podcast as well in the future. I guess Noah, we'll save it for when he hops on. So, because this was recorded after, enjoy the show, guys. We hope you guys enjoy it. Probably the best off-topic discussions we've had so far. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Or wait, enjoy.
What are we talking about today, by the way?
Do you guys want to talk about the Eternals?
I don't know. Bill, you haven't seen it though,
No.
have you?
It's already been spoiled for me, so
I don't want to
I
spoil
got
it more, though. That's
play-by-play.
the thing. I just don't want to, like, I don't know, because there's still some things that happen in it. Like, do you know about
Yeah.
both of the end credit scenes?
Yeah,
Okay, we might need to just touch on them then.
yeah, no, 100%.
Just
I
that.
mean, game to talk about anything here.
Well, how about we do like little, we can do like non-spoiler reviews for Eternals. Just kind of give our thoughts on
yeah.
it, and then
Yeah.
we can just go into the post-credit scenes if you already know about it, because I think that's one of the biggest things about that for me.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, the story is pretty self-contained to just them.
Yeah.
Which, funny thing, I was thinking about it the other day, and you know, it's been a while since there was an MCU movie where it was all self-contained with just that solo character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even I would say Black Widow was pretty isolated, but even that it had General Ross in it, which so it's been a while since there's been a movie where it just focused on the title character or characters.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that's what Shang-Chi was gonna be like personally, and I thought Eternals was gonna be the one that's gonna reference everything, but it's kind of the other
Yeah.
way around.
Yeah, especially with the way the Shang-Chi end credits scenes ended up.
Yeah.
And I'm not to mention the Ultimate Fighting Championship scenes.
Yeah, oh my god. That was awesome. I still remember the day
Yeah,
Abomination showed up in that trailer, and I was just like frantically messaging the group chat. I'm like, that was Abomination?
I read an article the other day that said it was talking about the underground fighting scene, and it said it shouldn't have been Wong that Abomination was fighting. It should have been Lady Sif.
Ooh, that would have been sick.
which to me, because she's coming back for Thor: Love and Thunder, I think.
Yeah, so she got to be on
Um,
Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would have been a great just drop in of, okay, so this is what she's been up to since she wasn't in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the only bit of her we got in Loki, wasn't it just the scene of like the time loop of her just kneeing him in the balls and walking away?
It was.
Yeah, so that was a flashback. That
Yeah.
wasn't even
Yeah.
new. I think the last time she really showed up was past the movie Thor itself was well, no, she was in the Dark World, wasn't she?
Yeah,
She was in
she
Dark
was.
World. She was in Agents of
Okay.
Shield. I don't know if that was after Dark World or not. I can't remember.
Yeah, but so then she was in an episode of Agents of Shield at one point too.
Yeah.
But I mean, whether that's canon or not anymore is anybody's guess.
I think it's pick your
Wow.
poison on whether it is or not. It's like, if you want it to be, it is.
Apparently, the new book that the MCU or Marvel or Disney, whoever, have brought out about the MCU, apparently that hints towards Agents of Shield and Agent Carter being canon, but doesn't confirm it. Oh, is that? There we go.
Oh, he's got the book.
Got it.
You know, like the second it went up, I pre-ordered it on Amazon, and I was like, I need this.
Yeah.
So is it right what I've just said? Does it hint at Agent Carter and Agents of Shield being canon, but not confirming it?
Agent Carter season 1 is confirmed canon. Everything else, no.
Right.
And you want to know the funnier part too? It was Marvel Entertainment who didn't want it to be connected. It wasn't Marvel Studios.
All right.
Yeah. That's the part I found weirdest, because I thought it was Feige was like, I don't want to deal with like the TV shows, but he wanted that.
Huh. Well, I mean, obviously, because now look what they have going on Disney Plus.
Yeah. And the rumor with Daredevil coming back and potentially a reintroduction of Jessica Jones. I mean, Feige loves the Punisher. Let's hope for that as well.
And, you know, from what I've heard, they're going to bring the same actors back for all of it. So,
Yeah, that's what I want.
I'm just really hope it's a different Iron Fist.
and you know what? After Loki and What If, they can just say that everything that happened in the Netflix series was a different reality.
I think this is the same. This is probably why Agent Carter and Agents of Shield have sort of come back into possibly being canon, because you can just see that, you know, multiverse, anything's canon or can be canon. I think anything's game now. So yeah.
And I think that presents an interesting opportunity to look at, okay, where exactly did this timeline diverge from this one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No?
Yeah.
Because I think there was an episode late seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where they showed the ship coming into Manhattan with Ebony Maw and whatnot on it. And then they just never acknowledged the snap.
Huh.
What did they?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're in their little shield bunker and they're watching it on a monitor.
Ah, right.
Wow.
Never noticed that.
See, this is why I should have got more into that show. That's literally the only Marvel show I haven't seen.
It took me ages. It took me ages to get into Agents of Shield. The first sort of half of the season. The first season.
Well, you know, I really watched the whole thing from the series premiere because it was like right in between the release of like Avengers and I think Dark World was the one that came out right after Avengers.
I think so. Yeah.
No, it was Iron Man. It was Iron Man.
Oh, Iron Man 2, yeah.
3.
Oh, 3. No, yeah, it was 3. Iron Man 2 was 2010.
Oh,
yeah, because Iron Man 2 set up the Avengers.
Yeah.
Oh man! So it was right after Iron Man 3 came out and before the Dark World. So they had no movies coming out. It's not like it is now where they have new MCU content every friggin' week.
Yeah.
And so I was just really trying to find something new, and I watched it and I was like, damn, this really is dead on connected.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I've seen the first 5 episodes maybe, and I was like, just off episode 1, you're like, oh, okay, so this is connected. Like, you know, Nick Fury's here. He's literally giving the rundown about everything, saying that like, oh yeah, this is the stuff the Avengers don't have access to. Like this is a
Yeah.
level above them. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I think that
that's interesting.
I think that was the weird thing about when they sort of turned around and said, "Oh, it's not canon." It's like, well, you've literally got characters that have appeared in it
Yeah.
that are in the MCU. So it's like, how does
Yeah.
that work? But yeah, I think they just sort of dropped it, didn't they? And then yeah, maybe it can come back in as canon now. I don't know, but
Hopefully.
And I mean, once you get further in, I think it's season 2. Season 2 is when Winter Soldier came out, right?
Oh yeah, and then
yeah,
Hydra takes over, and they go to Agents of Hydra, right?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
Well, I got yeah, kind of. I mean, you got if you're thinking about it
haven't seen it.
in the span of the Winter Soldier movie, then it's like a 12-hour takeover, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
They played that out over the course of 3 episodes in season 2. So they had an Agents of Shield where Shield falls and all that, and then there was this penultimate episode actually was titled Agents of Hydra.
Damn.
yeah,
That's
Man, it
pretty
was-
sick.
yeah.
The
You do need,
whole dynamic of the series changed in season 2 when Winter Soldier came out, and it was like episode came out on Tuesday, Winter Soldier debuts in theaters Friday, and then the next episode came out Tuesday of that week, which honestly was a great way to ensure people went out to Winter Soldier opening weekend, because they were watching the show. They needed to know what was going on.
Yeah.
yeah.
Fuck.
You do
And
need
that's
you do need
something-
you do need to see him, Tom. You do need to watch
I
them.
think I think I'm convinced now. I think this is going to be my winter watch, aside from
Yeah.
Hawkeye and Spider-Man and Book of Boba Fett.
But yeah, it's honestly a good watch. And like if you're an Agent Coulson fan, like this is it.
I love
Yeah.
Phil. Man is a goat. Also, I know we're gonna get into what if, but like, did anyone notice just like how more? I don't know. It seemed like he was better animated than a lot of the other characters, and he looked a lot more like Clark Gregg than I thought a lot of them really did.
Yeah, I didn't think the what if Natasha looked anything like ScarJo, but I mean, did they change that after they'd already done the? Because she wasn't involved, and then the lawsuit, and because honestly, I thought the what if character of Natasha Romanoff looked more like the Black Widow from the Avengers video game that came out the other year
Yes, actually.
than it did Scarlett Johansson.
That's definitely not a good thing.
Yeah, I must admit, I never actually thought about that, Bill. But you're right. The majority of the others look like the actors, whereas
Cumberbatch.
she doesn't really, does she? You're right.
No,
Gee.
Whoa. But I think surely all that was done before the whole issue with Scarlett Johansson, though. Surely,
Yeah.
what if was all in? But whether or not, I don't know. They could have maybe changed it last minute, but yeah, no, that's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did we all think of What If then?
Honestly,
Yeah.
know what I'll just record in like an intro later, and so if you're seeing this, ignore it because I didn't edit it out. No, don't worry about it. We'll just keep going because we kind of had that rhythm going with Agents of Shield stuff. So I'll just put the intro before that, and then we'll go. But yeah, no.
Okay.
What If as a whole, not gonna lie, I've left it off of my MCU rankings personally because I couldn't find it on Letterboxd to add it. But yeah, honestly, I enjoyed it for what it was. It felt like a What If comic, personally. Everything it starts, it changes, and it ends like shit.
yeah.
So that's all I really expected from it. So
I saw a lot of stuff in What If that I would love to see them translate to live action in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just for small snippets of a movie or whatever. That especially with going into the multiverse now with potentially No Way Home, and obviously the next Doctor Strange. If we could see Benedict Cumberbatch portray the evil Doctor Strange in live action,
Please.
that would be just that would be gold.
I'd be so happy.
We talked about this on a podcast though, Tom, didn't we? About
so.
the trailer for No Way Home,
Yes.
and about how the scene where he's doing the spell so everyone can forget about who Peter Parker is or who Spider-Man is, and that we think it may, or it was talked about anyway, that it may be someone else messing with the spell. Now that could well be did we even mention, Tom, a sort of an alternative version of Strange? Maybe
I think
don't
Zach
know.
brought that up. He thought it was the version from What If specifically that that's who Peter's fighting.
All right. Or did we?
Because of the Eye of Agamotto.
All right. Yeah.
Which I'm also kind of confused about that from Spider-Man. But to be honest, I think if they're gonna do an alternate version of Doctor Strange, they'll do it in a Doctor Strange movie, especially one titled Multiverse of Madness. I think the multiples of anyone we're getting in the next movie, it'll be Spider-Man. Fingers crossed for that still.
Have you seen the new poster that's come out?
Did it drop?
It's dropped. I found. Hold on, trying to get it on Twitter. We apparently getting a trailer tomorrow.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
For No Way Home.
For No Way Home. Apparently.
I'd be okay with that.
Hold on.
Really?
Hold on. Have I just seen a? Where the hell is it? Oh, hold on.
You know, honestly, I'm surprised they didn't have the next No Way Home trailer in theaters with Eternals this weekend.
Same here.
Well, honestly, I was expecting that. Oh, you know what?
Because honestly,
sorry,
with the way the online reviews, especially the critic reviews for Eternals, have not been good.
No.
I mean, they're saying it's like average at best. So putting that No Way Home trailer in there, word's going to get out that plays before the movie. People will buy the tickets just to see the trailer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And missed opportunity, honestly.
It may have been fan art that I've seen.
Honestly, there's been some amazing fan art posters, though.
It was one of Doc Ock holding 3 Spider-Man masks.
I just saw that. It is from a fake account. I literally did just see that on my Twitter timeline too. So it's Spider-Man No Way Home, and then like the ad is the same except instead of Spider-Man movie, it's Spider-Man.
Oh,
M-A-M.
right. I've been completely done there.
All the comments are just Tom from Far From Home. You can't trick me anymore. It's like, oh, come on.
Well, tricked me.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been tricked multiple times. Remember the trailer's coming tomorrow, guys. Trailer's coming tomorrow, guys. Here we go.
Definitely coming tomorrow.
I hope so.
I've just said that as well.
But they did say, like, I think it was Daniel RPK, one of the more reliable leakers when it comes to posters and trailers. He said that the poster would be out today.
All right.
And it's at least, like, I'm assuming you probably didn't mean Eastern time. I was thinking you probably meant Central or Pacific. So maybe that's maybe it's gonna be tomorrow for us, but like, like that for him. But Discord's playing pranks.
Yeah, Discord is not my biggest fan by any means.
I'd honestly, on the phone, I'd 100% feel that.
Yeah, give me a second here.
Yeah, sure. But I guess just while we're waiting for Bill to get ready, Chris, what were your thoughts about What If?
Very good, to be honest. I think I liked the last 2 episodes. I wasn't expecting it all to come together. I'll be honest with you. I thought we were just going to have just sort of standalone episodes, which I would have been happy with, to be honest. But to have it all come together, I thought was really good. And we got a hint at because we were meant to get. I think we were one down. Was it 9? Was it 9? And we were meant to get 10. Yeah. And I think the one that was missing was the Stark Gamora episode, which obviously we got them together in the end. But I think we're going to get that in season 2, apparently.
I think so, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be episode 1. And it honestly kind of sucks that we know essentially what's going to happen. We literally saw them melting the Infinity Gauntlet at the beginning of that episode. It's like, oh, so they're on Sakaar fighting Thanos.
Yeah.
At least that's like again, like it doesn't bother me. I look for leaks specifically anyways, so like I'm okay with that. But I know there's a lot of people who would rather just go in fresh and see it, which I also would like to do that, but it's impossible. I'm too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Too far down the rabbit.
I think with What If though, I think you did, and I watched the What If assembled when they talk about the making, and they even said on that you have to be, it's for the fans, so it's not for the sort of the Joe public. Yeah, it is for the fans, and it certainly was. You had to have watched the films to be able to watch that and get anything out of it. So, but hey, I'm all for that.
Yeah,
100%, all day long.
Oh yeah, like
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting maybe a bit more from What If, because I think there was a few episodes that kind of lulled for me. Like Captain Carter, I didn't think that was very strong, in my opinion.
Episode 1 too. Huh?
Yeah. But they got it right, because I think, was T'Challa Star-Lord episode 2? Yeah, it was, because the murder mystery was episode 3. So those next two, I was right back hooked in. Then it was Doctor Strange and Zombies. Again, right hooked in for those. I'm trying to think what was right after that. Was that the... Oh, yeah. Wasn't a huge fan of that. Not gonna lie. It was...
Right.
Yeah, it just... I don't know. It seemed... They went full Taika Waititi without Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
And it felt odd. I did love the Darcy and the Duck, though.
And I will say, I did like seeing Frost Giant Loki.
Oh yeah.
True. Yeah, that was good.
And that they get along when Odin's not just fucking with the relationship. That was the best part for me, because
that was a great little Easter egg.
Oh yeah. Which I think we all know, like the MCU for as long as it's been around has been the story of shit dads. So it's fitting. It just continues to prove that point. Minus, of course, T'Chaka. But
you know what, though? I think I would also say minus Howard Stark at this point.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, just honestly, we get a bad picture of him as a father from Iron Man 1. And then Tony's resentment carrying all the way over into Iron Man 2. But then really from that time, he cracks open the case with the arc reactor stuff in Iron Man 2. Every interaction that we get is showing his dad in a more and more favorable light, right up until the end, during Endgame, when he gives his dad a hug and says thanks, and Howard's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah. In 20 years, though, he's gonna be like, "Hold on a fucking minute." It's like, I swear I saw you like 20 years ago.
Yeah, and when that conversation right before they get killed by the Winter Soldier is going to go a whole lot different, because he's going to be like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
It's just going to click.
It's going to be like, fuck, he knew. Damn. Sorry, Chris?
I was going to say, so are we all happy for a season 2 of What If then?
Yes.
Yes.
I would love to see the Phase 4 characters introduced into that.
Oh,
yeah. I would like to see a proper Captain America story. Steve Rogers. Just another Steve Rogers story where he's actually the super soldier, and it's,
They hinted at that, though, didn't they? In the end?
They hinted at him being more of a Winter Soldier type thing. Because technically where Peggy is in that timeline, she's in the Winter Soldier. Like, they just raided Batrock's ship. And I guess now they're finding stuff on Batrock's ship instead of it being like, oh, this is Fury technically paying people to rob it because they're Hydra, but none of them know that yet. which is
Yeah.
again, it's a bit. This is why it's not for the casuals. But yeah, it's more complicated the more you think of it. But
For
like,
real.
yeah, it's pretty much my view of it was, yeah, it's the Steve's going to be the Winter Soldier in this scenario,
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
minus the super soldier serum, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
But if he's the Winter Soldier, wouldn't he have serum now? Because Bucky has it in the main timeline.
you know what? I honestly don't know. I just saw him in the what's it called, the Hydra Stomper still, so I was just kind of like, I assume he doesn't. But if they are gonna go full Winter Soldier, because I was just kind of referencing as like the characters, they're kind of swapping them out for each other, kind of like what they did with Star-Lord and T'Challa. Like, why was T'Challa named Star-Lord and Quill got that name from his mom saying it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, and I was under the impression that what do you want to call it? He wasn't in the suit anymore. So I totally forgot about that he was in the Hydra Stomper suit.
It has been a while since I've watched it. I may be wrong. So like I'm gonna have to go watch it.
No, you're
again.
right. Now that I'm thinking about it, you're right.
Okay. I'll trust you.
They must do a twist on it though, because again, fans will be sort of, as we're talking, would be half expecting it to be a Winter Soldier story. So surely somewhere along the line, I would like to think there'd be some sort of twist, or there will be. There has to be, because it's a multiverse. There'll be a twist on it, other than something not as simple as he's now Steve is now the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I would like to think they do something a little bit different.
I hope that too, but honestly, with the Captain Carter episode, it essentially was just the first Avenger retold, but Peggy's Steve.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah,
So
I mean, they kept Steve in it, didn't they? Which
yeah,
I think that was probably the only slight sort of difference. But you're right, the rest of it was just the first Avenger film,
yeah.
wasn't it? So,
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
they did that because they wanted to do something drastically different for a Winter Soldier type film. But
Maybe. Yeah.
like maybe this is the one where it's just gonna go just straight off the rails. Maybe Kang shows up and he's like, all right, boom, just grabs the Hydra Stomper, and Peggy's like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I seriously don't think that's gonna happen, but in the multiverse, you never know.
But dude, now anything's possible, literally. I mean, because we've also, not only have we gone into the multiverse, but we've also moved beyond the constraints of live action and having to cast an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like Lake Bell I thought did a great job with Black Widow. Personally, I do love her as Poison Ivy in it's not DC Universe anymore, it's HBO Max, I think, the Harley Quinn show.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. I just saw something on Twitter now. Apparently, she's joined the cast of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Oh, really?
So it's gonna be interesting if she's playing a voice or if she's playing someone. But that remains to be seen. Got to do a quick Spider-Man thing update. Nope, not there. But so I guess with What If, do you guys have anything else you want to add before maybe we move on to the next thing?
No. I think I just, like I said, I'm actually very surprised and glad with the way it ended in the last two, because I think the one about Ultron, one before the last one, and I thought, oh, this is just going to be another, and then it moves on to a sort of a finale with the Guardians of the Multiverse, and I thought that was very good. I wasn't expecting that, so.
It was really a 3-episode arc because they teased Ultron at the end of the one.
Yes.
Was that Party
at the end of
Thor?
the Zombies one? Wasn't it the end of the Zombies one?
Oh, I have no idea. I know I remember what you're saying though, because the Watcher's giving his whole end of the episode speech, and then Ultron shows up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think how they all ended. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch them again. I know what. No, was Zombie Thanos how the zombie one ended?
No, it was Thor. Thor was it was Zombie, then the Party Thor one, wasn't it?
I don't know. I guess it's quite easy to check the episode order.
Yeah.
But I do
You're
have
right.
one more
No,
thing
no,
to
no,
add.
no. Chris is right. It was the Party Thor one.
Oh, okay. All right.
No,
Because-
no. Oh, no. It was a zombie one, the Killmonger one,
Yeah.
and then Party Thor.
So so it was Party. Yeah, Thor.
It was
Then
Party Thor, and then the Ultron one, and then the Watcher. The Watcher broke his.
Oath.
What was it called? Broke his oath. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I do have one more thing to add on What If then. I'm upset the Watcher broke his oath. I was really hoping that he wasn't going to break his oath and that the only time we were going to see him break his oath, well, sorry, not the only time, the first time we'd see him break his oath would be in the Fantastic Four movie when Galactus is going to show up and he just comes up. He's like, you guys got to stop him. Like, you got to stop Galactus.
I read somewhere that he breaks his oath all the time.
He does. But like that instance in the Fantastic Four comics was the first time.
Right. Okay.
So
okay,
like
that's fair.
that's why I wanted it. But yeah, no, his oath means nothing.
But yeah, no, his oath definitely means nothing. But if you're thinking about universes and timelines, him coming in the Fantastic Four could be the first time he breaks his oath in the main MCU.
Yeah.
That's true.
I know what I think. That's what they're gonna do with it. Oh, actually,
Because as far as we know, there's only 6 people in the multiverse that know of the Watcher and know he's broken his oath, and it's the Guardians of the Multiverse.
yeah.
And two of them are in a. Or one. What happened to Killmonger at the end? I can't remember.
He's trapped, fighting
is he
Zola Vision with Strange. I think
Yeah, is he trapped in the that
the dead
mini-
dimension. I think it is.
Yeah.
Strange has I think Strange has Killmonger and Ultron like in a miniaturized like crystal, and then he's just watching them in his collapsed dimension.
Yeah.
All right, what do you guys want to talk about next, though? Should we talk about some Spider-Man leaks, or maybe some Eternals, or maybe even a little bit of the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
No?
No, I haven't seen
Do
that.
you know what
that
happens
one.
in it?
I've heard there's a link to the MCU. That's all I know.
It's a tad more direct than that.
Yeah.
Right. Ah, come on, then.
Kinda-
Come on, tell me then.
Are you
Just tell me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
spoiler warning,
Well,
if you have not seen...
hang on. All I'll say, I just want to say this beforehand. It definitely is that end credit scene is definitely all tangled up in the MCU's web.
Yes.
Right. Because I have seen the trailer for what's it called?
Morbius.
Morbius, which sort of gives that seems to be connected now to, or certainly to Venom.
But
anyway.
to which universe? Because it looks like it's connected to Raimi's universe. It looks like it's connected to the MCU. It looks like it's connected to the TASM universe because they have the same Oscorp logo and also Venom. Because, know what, we won't get into the post-credit scene, but to say this, Chris, Venom, like, the whole story of Venom 1 and Venom 2 do not take place in the MCU. So we got blessed with that.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's confused me even more.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay. I need to go and see that film. Okay.
It's okay.
Well, hang on, but Chris, let me ask you this: how much do you know about the Venom symbiote itself?
Probably just what I've seen on film. So from the third Spider-Man, and then what I've seen in Venom, and well, that's it. That's probably it, actually. I
Read
haven't
Donny
probably-
Cates
so-
Venom.
Sorry.
So,
I'm joking. You can go ahead, Bill.
if you know about the Venom symbiote, you know that they have all the Venoms across the multiverse have like a hive mind. So the
Right.
Venom, so theoretically, the Venom from the Raimi trilogy can access all of
Right.
Tom Hardy Venom's memories.
Okay. Right.
And, oh, yeah. It's,
I must admit, this is better than you just tell me what it is, because my mind's just racing now.
Also, this isn't even a spoiler. I'm pretty sure it's the same in the comics. The symbiotes have been around for millions of years.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of years. And this is a comics thing that hasn't even been touched on at all in the movies. There's like someone's in charge of the symbiotes.
All right. Okay.
I'm thinking if Sony's trying to do a big bad, that's who they're going to do. His name is Null. Pretty recent, too. I'm thinking like it's got to be within the last 10 years they did The King in Black. Maybe even the last 5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check again, but yeah, he's something.
Okay.
See, but I'm not sure Sony is really trying to build their own universe anymore.
They're just gonna build off the MCU.
I feel like they're just going to build off the MCU, and it's going to be all of the Marvel characters that Sony has the rights to are going to end up being made by and produced by Kevin Feige, just like Spider-Man, because obviously they've been making bank since Marvel started using Spider-Man.
Because Spider-Man's now multi-billion-dollar, just in the MCU films, multi-billion-dollar property.
Yeah. And as it is, Spider-Man was already Sony Pictures' most profitable franchise to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think you're right, Bill. It's I mean, this is something which I always thought was the best route for them. Just to link up. Obviously, they did it with Spider-Man initially, but with everything that they've got, they might as well just link into it as well as Spider-Man's done with Marvel. Just sort of give it to them. Obviously, make the money off them, but just give it to them to, make you money.
Yeah,
so
do the dirty work.
Yeah, it's like being in grade school and letting somebody else do all the work on a class project, and then you take the A anyway.
Exactly. It's the big brain play.
Yeah.
But I guess that leaves me one more question, because without actually saying what the end credit scene was, Chris, you know that Venom was multiverse to the MCU, more than likely. Do you think this is what they're doing for mutants?
Sorry, in terms of...
Like, do you think they're going to take the Fox version of the X-Men and use Multiverse of Madness to merge that into the MCU? Or have some of them jump to the MCU?
So you're talking like Michael Fassbender and...
Yeah, or Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen.
I don't think they'll do it, will they? I don't think Jackman's coming back.
No.
I mean, who? I suppose that's one question. Would that happen? But the other question is, would you want that to happen?
No.
Is there any of the actors that you'd want? I can't think of any. I mean, most of them have sort of.
I'm not gonna lie. I would not mind Hugh Jackman coming back and Wolverine being an exact doppelganger.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think that would be hilarious because he could show up in the Deadpool movie then, and Deadpool could make all kinds of Fox references.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Yeah.
Let's be honest, Deadpool's going to make all types of Fox references anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Along with probably just roasting the Disney Corporation as a whole, which everyone will get a kick out of.
Yeah.
Even the Snyder cultists. But,
Hey, I'm one of them.
Hey, same here. I would like the Snyderverse restored.
I agree.
I'm just saying. That's a better film. It was a better film. We all saw it. Way better. It would have been a lot better if it was Jon Stewart at the end and not Martian Manhunter, but that's a different discussion. Well, still so cheesy you didn't get to see that scene. See, at least Marvel's delivering mostly.
Honestly, though, I'm not mad that it was Martian Manhunter.
No.
But I don't think it should have been the general guy.
No.
because now he just looks like an asshole for standing by when Zod was destroying Metropolis, or when Doomsday was about to kill Superman in the first place. Like, now you're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, judging from how Snyder did, or no, I wouldn't even say Snyder, because it wasn't really Snyder. It was kind of just the writing for a lot of the characters did seem a little darker, so maybe that's the kind of thing they were trying to go for. It's like, we'll do Dark Martian Manhunter. He doesn't give a fuck. He's just gonna sit around and watch the world burn. But then clearly he shows up, and that's just not the case.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that continue, but it looks like it sadly is done.
Honestly, though, it doesn't have to be, because
They have HBO
the
Max.
Flash movie. Well, they have HBO Max. The Flash movie is would have been the perfect opportunity for, them to say,
mic off.
Theatrical version of Justice League is no longer canon. This happened, and so now the Snyder Cut is canon.
Yeah.
They could have flashpointed that whole thing away.
I wonder if they're gonna do it kind of like similar to like, what was it, like the 2015 Battle World from Marvel. Maybe they're gonna merge the two, and it's gonna be like collectively they're gonna pull from some of the stuff Whedon did, but mainly a lot of the stuff Snyder did. Because even just from the filmmakers, what they've talked about, they're like, they seem to be going like, yeah, we're gonna follow what Snyder laid out. Like, that was a better story for the universe. Because it was.
Yeah.
They have to.
So, sorry, we got on our knees for a second just to suck Snyder, but like, back to Spy.
There's a lot of. All right, I'm going down this rabbit hole
That's okay.
just a little further. Okay, look, there's a lot of things to be said for the way Marvel has run their universe.
Yep.
They've had one guy in charge with an overall vision, and then they've had all the little directors peppered along the way be able to put their own take on a microcosm of it, because it's a story focused on a singular character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think WB and DC panicked way too early.
Yeah.
Because if they would have just let Zach have the overarching vision, and then let all the other directors, what's her name that direct, Patty Jenkins, and
Was
James Wan and all of them, just continue to make their own movies, then this is the Snyder Justice League trilogy would have been the overarching story behind it all.
Yeah.
If they would have let it all happen, it would have been done and finished by now. Like, Flashpoint would have already happened in what Snyder's original plan was. I think it was this year it was supposed to happen. No, it was a few years ago. So, like, we would have gotten, like, Cyborg by now as a movie, which now, like, Ray Fisher doesn't have a career. Like, it's some criminal shit went on over there. Not saying it didn't have Marvel. Look at what happened with ScarJo during the summer.
Well, yeah.
Thankfully,
look all the way back to 2009, the way Terrence Howard got screwed.
Mm-hmm. And even just Edgar Wright with the Ant-Man movies as well.
I was going to say Edgar Wright. Marvel have hit bumps along the way, but I think what you're saying, Bill, they've always had Feige, who's just sort of overseen everything, and Marvel have stuck with him, or Disney have stuck with him. You know what I mean? You're right. I mean, DC just rushed it, really just rushed it, and I get why they did, because Marvel were streaking ahead, but come on, guys, just have a bit of patience.
Yeah.
See where you can end up in 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my last point is this: DC looked at Marvel and said, "Oh, their movies are fun and happy, and kids all want to go see them, and this, that." Well, that's just the thing. Marvel Comics, the actual books, tend to have a brighter, happier tone than a lot of the DC printed comics anyway.
Yeah.
I think DC just saw Marvel having so much success and said, "We want that."
Yeah.
the reason they didn't realize that the reason Marvel's had all the success is because they've just stayed true to what their characters are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think maybe the one kind of glimmer of hope we can kind of get from Ayer and Snyder's time with WB is that, like, unfortunately they had to go through what they went through. That was awful. It's good that Snyder's got his whole thing going on. He's making his own. I think it seems like it's going to be a connected film franchise, but we'll see. So he's got that going on. Ayer obviously still making hits. Like, if anyone thought he was a bad director, just watch a movie that isn't titled Suicide Squad. But it also paved the path for, look at Matt Reeves' The Batman. Looks amazing. I don't know if you guys saw The Suicide Squad this summer by James Gunn. I thought that was amazing as well. One of my favorite comic book movies. Like, I think they're on the right track now. It's awful those guys were the ones who had to pay for it, because they didn't deserve that. They're two great filmmakers, but unfortunately.
And not only that, but the cast of Justice League. I mean,
you got Ben Affleck as Batman. Come on.
And not only that, but look at the rest of the cast too. They're all massive actors.
And Ezra Miller.
Mean, Ezra Miller, Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, like, hell.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry Cavill, I'm sorry, I don't care what you say. I mean, if you want a perfect casting, short of Christopher Reeve, Henry Cavill is as Clark Kent as you're going to find. I mean, from the hair to the jawline to...
Yeah.
Like, it... I'm sorry, and to the other man... God, we are really down a DC rabbit hole here, aren't we? To anybody that says that that the Man of Steel was not a good movie, or it just was too dark and too this, too that, I want them to stop and think for a second about how the world and the U.S. government would actually react in today's day and age to someone like Superman showing up on the scene.
Yeah.
You really don't think they'd roll out tanks and point them directly at him?
Like,
nah.
if anything, Snyder was 3 years early.
Yeah.
Ish.
No, that's exactly how the government would react to somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really have too many complaints for the DC films, except for a few of them, but like Justice League and Suicide Squad, I can't get over the first Suicide Squad. I know it wasn't what Ayer wanted, but that was horrible. I tried to watch it again.
I didn't really mind it. I thought the ending was crap, but the movie, the body of the movie, I didn't mind. You know, I thought Will Smith was great as Deadshot.
I thought Margot.
Obviously, you know, Margot Robbie's great as Harley Quinn. I didn't hate Jared Leto's Joker in that movie either.
Me neither.
No, I didn't either. No.
It was his own take on it. You know, that's what everybody gets praised for. He really put his own spin on that character. Heath Ledger got that praise. Nicholson got that. Joaquin Phoenix got that last year too.
Yeah.
Leto put his own take on it, and everyone said it was garbage. Like,
yeah, I'm with you on that one. It might not be the take people like, but he put his own take on. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And then turn around and look how fantastic he was in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah. Oh, and he had one scene.
Yeah.
That scene between him and Ben Affleck was honestly the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like that's the first like true Batman versus Joker interpretation we've gotten on screen. I don't know. I really enjoyed the Dark Knight trilogy. I think I've been quite vocal. I don't think they're great Batman movies aside from Begins. The Dark Knight was an amazing Joker movie in my opinion, but I think they really Nolan just wanted to go for realism, and I'm not gonna knock him on that. Like, he's not really trying to stay true to the character. He's trying to do his own thing. So I think he did an amazing job at that. To an
I
extent,
think
they
he
stay
stayed,
true, but
and I just think that he was going for such realism because honestly, Batman's one of the only characters you can really
yeah,
do that with.
exactly.
I mean,
Who else, really? Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe Black Panther, if we make up a fictional country.
nah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Iron Man from Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
If we're going to
cause
swing that back to Marvel, honestly, Iron Man's the most realistic you can get.
yeah,
Because odds are we're not that far away from being able to produce rudimentary suits like that.
Mm.
and I swear there's been some videos on YouTube of people testing suits like that. Like maybe not like flying
Mythbusters
like
did one.
that. Yeah, exactly. I remember seeing that like a bunch.
Is
Yeah,
that
like
Justin
it can
Hammer, is
only
it?
get like 5-10 feet up, but still that's 5-10 feet up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
holy shit.
Yeah.
But I
but
mean, I guess maybe, I mean, hey, I guess this will be a topic too. So, any last comments on just DC for now? Because I'm sure we'll be back.
or DC Marvel
Yeah.
comparisons.
Yeah.
Actually,
We'll
you know
always come
what?
back
If
to it.
I'm gonna make one more. Chloe Zhao even came out and said that yes, Man of Steel was an inspiration for Icarus in the Eternals, which I
Oh,
think
really?
now that Chris, now that you've seen it, does that make a lot more sense to you?
What with some of the references that were in there?
Not just the references. I was thinking more of the
Oh,
way
but
that
the way that Icarus was. Yeah.
was.
Well, I mean, he was Superman basically
Yeah.
in that film. It was.
I mean,
I
the
don't.
kid
I
even
don't.
called him Superman.
Yeah. That's not
Um.
the only DC
Oh yeah.
reference in the movie.
Yeah. I know. I know. That blew my mind. By the way,
Same.
the sort of the DC references. I was like,
The
what
Batman
is
one.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a Batman, there was a Superman. I don't think there was any else. Might have been, I can't remember. But I mean, they're the two big ones, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what is going on here?
Yeah.
How are these being referenced in the way they got referenced as well? It was just like, oh my lord, this is unbelievable. But
He's
I don't
Superman
know.
with the cape and the eyes.
Yeah, but in the comics, is Icarus like that?
No. He's
No,
quite different.
no.
But mind
Right,
you, the Eternals are also quite different.
right. Okay.
The
Yeah, I wondered about
A
that.
lot is changed, to
Yeah.
say the
yeah.
least.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, Eternals was good.
Yep.
Eternals was good. I'll be honest, I wasn't massively blown away by it. But on reflection, the more I've thought about it, it's a very different film to what we've had in the
Mhm.
MCU, I would say. And I've probably been sort of, I don't want to say brainwashed, but with the 20 odd films that I've seen, you know, they've got a very good sort of this is how the film works,
Yeah.
and this was just very different. A lot slower, probably more character driven, I would say, which is weird to say because most of the you know most of the MCU films are character driven in a way. You know what I mean? We spend a lot of time with these people, but Eternals in particular, it was about them, really about them.
Hmm.
And I think, yeah, and the more I thought about it, it probably wasn't as bad as I never thought it was bad, but it was probably better than what I thought it was. Than when I first came out the cinema and going, oh, yeah, it was all right, but I was expecting more. But yeah, on
Yeah,
reflection, yeah, it was probably better than what I thought, just purely because it was a different film. And I'll be honest, the two post-credit scenes just blew my mind anyway. So I still came out very, very happy
Yeah.
afterwards. So,
I mean, we're gonna
yeah.
get into the post-credit scenes in a sec, but honestly, like, I'm very, very much in the same boat to an extent. I came out of the movie very much liking it. I really enjoyed it. Mind you, I usually come out of most movies with that either DC or MCU high. So I'm kind of like, I'm
Yeah.
high on. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw Justice League in theaters, I went out on a bit of a high. Like immediately after seeing that movie, I was like, we're getting a Legion of Doom. We're gonna get a Legion of Doom versus Justice League. Then I went and saw it again. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I did see that the next day. Now I've had 5-ish days to sit and think on it. I don't think my opinion's changed. I still really enjoyed that movie. What you said is exactly true. Very character driven, and the fact that they were able to give so much of a development to 10 different characters, and you could actually like see the development in a lot of them. I don't know if you had a favorite Eternal, Chris. I'm gonna have to say I really really liked. I can't go with just one. Makari, I'd say might have to be number one for me. Coolest way to show super speed. Hands down, that was awesome. Athena was amazing. I also really liked Gilgamesh and Phastos. Also Kingo, like hands down. Like I'm getting a Kingo poster. I have to. That dude was sick. Like Cersei was awesome. Dane Whitman too. The second I saw him, and like he gets, this is a minor spoiler, but early on in the movie he gets a ring with his family crest on it. If you've read the comics, you know what that crest means. So yeah, that was.
Can we just pause and take a second though too to laugh at the fact that they got Kit Harington and Richard Madden to play characters that are basically like what, brother-in-law? Basically in this, when they already played.
There's a scene where they're actually just sort of come face to face as well, and I'm just like, wow. It's just like, well,
hey, they're all grown up.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, I was expecting a bit more of a reference to some Game of Thrones stuff, but like obviously it's a movie about the Eternals. Dane Whitman, of course, only being a human in this movie, was not featured heavily.
Oh, until the end.
Yes, which I guess if you guys are ready, would you want to get into the post-credit scenes?
Yeah, sure, why not?
So, as usual, when we get to topics like these, major spoilers for, I'd say, the future. So, sorry, Bill, you haven't seen it, but we're gonna go in.
Let's go.
So, first end credit scene, we get Pip the Troll popping onto the Eternal ship, voiced by the incredible Patton Oswalt. Thank God.
Who also, segue back to earlier in the podcast, played a bunch of doppelganger, like twins or whatever, on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That basically had the same job of announcing stuff.
Yes.
Oh my God, I've seen the clips of that. Dude, I love him.
Anyway,
I watched
continue.
MODOK with him. He great in that. But yeah, so Pip shows up and introduces an Eternal, the brother of Thanos. Something he didn't mention also was that he's the cousin of Athena, which makes their next interaction quite awkward. Yeah. So brother of Thanos, it's Eros or Star Fox. And Chris, I don't know if you got Infinity Watch on you, but I think you know what's getting set up.
Yeah, well, I haven't read all of it yet though, so I don't know.
See, well, the way Eros kind of like comes out, and he has the same circle, I guess, sphere that Cersei and Ajax used to communicate with. I think it was Arishem for them, but I'm guessing it might have been different for Eros being on Titan.
Yeah.
Well, on Titan until it was destroyed before Thanos then destroyed the universe, which also, I think they're going to end up explaining it, but Eros, what were you doing letting Thanos collect the Infinity Stones? I'm just saying.
So I read an interesting theory the other day. I gotta say the other day, it was like yesterday, that Eros didn't do anything because Thanos eliminating half of all life would have stopped further celestial reproduction.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, because it's actually
because it would have stopped it universe wide. Because they do mention that on Earth that it did because of the snap. That's why the emergence didn't happen before.
It was put back 5 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because of that.
Ooh, yeah. Actually, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because clearly they're leaning down the route more of Eros is not really as connected to Thanos as much as he was. Because like as much as it sucks to say, like at least for fans of the Infinity Gauntlet and a few of the other older stories, like probably won't get to see a Josh Brolin versus Harry Styles. By the way, it's Harry Styles who's Arrows. So yeah, so we won't get to see a Josh Brolin versus Harry Styles kind of battle of even just them talking to each other. If we do, maybe flashbacks, but that's the one part that kind of I'm down about. But I think it's a very interesting character they've chosen to bring in.
Well, and here's the other thing too, though, is the MCU is very hot and cold with the way they portray different characters in terms of power level.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that necessarily that we would even want that, because we don't know how powerful or not Eros is yet.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He could be, because personally, they're all pretty powerful, but I don't think any of the Eternals could touch Thanos.
No. Maybe
so
Thena.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to think Thanos. The only person that came close to touching him was Doctor Strange when they went one-on-one on Titan.
Oh yeah.
And personally, I think Doctor Strange could take any of the Eternals.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. 100%.
So, if Eros is of a similar power level to the rest of the crew, I really don't know that we'd ever want to see him fight Thanos, because I think Thanos would wipe the floor with him.
Yeah. Honestly, I agree, because I'm wondering how they're going to do Eros' powers in this, because I don't think everyone on Titan is an Eternal in the comics. I think a bunch of them are. Like, Thanos is half Eternal, half Deviant. Like, on his dad's side is the Deviant side, which his dad's also quite shocked about, apparently. But, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Eros' powers, like, essentially, it's like emotion manipulation kind of thing.
Yes.
I believe that's what it is. And
correct.
He kind of got in some hot water for, like, manipulating some people to, like, sleep with him in the comics and stuff. And they haven't touched him too much since then.
Well, I think that's hilarious, though, that they picked Harry Styles then, because
That's what I meant. It's perfect.
Because how many teenage girls have said, "Oh, I would cheat on my boyfriend for him any day."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, funny little caveat.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, like I don't know if you guys have seen Dunkirk. I like that movie. I thought he wasn't, if I'm not mistaken, he wasn't like huge in the movie, but he was in the movie. He wasn't bad.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better than Ed Sheeran in Game of Thrones.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I think Harry Styles probably gets a bad rap in terms of, oh, well, he's just a pop star. He's not an actor.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean he can't do it.
Yeah.
So yeah. And yeah, you're right, in Dunkirk. I don't know if he's been in anything else. Don't know if he has, but he was okay in Dunkirk. I think that's the surprising thing for me. He hasn't really done much from then to get a fairly big part, or potentially a very big part, or you would expect it now. You know what I mean? So, for it to be someone who's, well, he's well known, but relatively unknown as an actor. I found that surprising, but.
Yeah, but I mean, Marvel's not afraid to take chances with their casting.
No. Yeah,
and they're normally very good at the casting as well. To be fair, so.
And I mean, going all the way back to Iron Man, I mean, Robert Downey, RDJ was a risk.
Oh yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. was not a sure thing in 2008.
Because he was still going through rehab at that point too, right?
Well, I think when they were in
pre-production, just out. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Well, I read something that Chris Evans had turned down the role a few times.
3 times.
Yeah. But they just went after him because they were convinced he was the right man.
And then,
can you argue with that?
There's like a clip. Oh, sorry, Bill.
I don't think they could have picked a better actor.
No.
I don't think they could have.
Like, I'm trying to think who else was in the running for Captain America. It was like John Krasinski and a few other people.
Sebastian
Yeah.
Stan.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did audition for that.
Sebastian
Yeah,
Stan.
he
Yeah.
auditioned for a
Yeah.
few things, right?
Yeah. But honestly, I don't think anybody could have done a better job than Chris Evans,
No,
personally.
not at
No.
all.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
Completely agree.
I just
he
think
was
he
amazing.
yeah, too good.
I mean, like, I can't get the Canadian hero yet. Like, we're still. I mean, hey, who knows? I'm guessing Deadpool is gonna be the first one that's gonna pop up, but I'm holding out hope we get to see Alpha Flight one day.
Yeah. I don't know about
If
that.
they're gonna give us the Winter Guard, like they kind of teased in Black Widow, I'm saying you better bring in Alpha Flight. Like, we're getting A-Force tease in Avengers Endgame. Like, come on, this is a better known team than the A-Force. All right, but I guess one more thing I have, which is kind of just something I said earlier. The reason I think it's going to be Infinity Watch for maybe not Eros' direct future, but in his MCU timeline future, they have Adam Warlock now. They have Pip. They have Eros. They have Drax. They have Gamora. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that the whole Infinity Watch team?
Maybe.
I think I might be leaving one or two people out, but I think that's essentially the team.
But is Dave Bautista still going to be around?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think he is.
It's just the more and more he talks about stuff, it's like
I think he's massively pissed off with Disney, isn't he? So
ever since Gunn got fired, which
Yeah.
rightfully so. With that was
yeah.
quite
Yeah.
an overreaction. Like,
Yeah.
and because it's the internet and this will be on it, no one's saying that what James Gunn tweeted was okay, but it was
No, not by
10
any
years
means.
ago.
Exactly.
People
I mean,
change.
people change. People's opinions change every day. That's what this country was built on, honestly.
Yeah.
Was one person had an idea, another person had an opposing idea, and somebody convinced the other one that one was better.
Yep.
That's the same way social evolution works. So to and this is a side note in general of the cancel culture that we live in nowadays, that I think is much too quick to judge somebody for who they were years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they did it last week and they were spouting off racist, misogynistic, whatever, if they did it last week, yeah, 100%, they're done.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, if they did it 10 years ago and they weren't really being serious and they said it offhand as, a joke, which not saying those things should be joked about, but societal norms change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I literally watched Reservoir Dogs again yesterday, and I probably hadn't seen that film for 20 years, and the language in it is unbelievable. I was sat there with my wife watching it, and she was like, "Are these words actually being said by these actors?"
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe. I'm obviously not going to say any of the words because they're very, very offensive now.
Mm-hmm.
And there they are in probably one of the, classic films of the, or certainly one of the classic films of the 90s, if not more. And so as you say, Bill, you move on. You learn from what you've done, and you move on and become a better person. And I'm sure Gunn has done that, and
he's shown it.
Well, yeah, and the crazy thing about it, he'd done 2 Guardians of the Galaxies,
right?
And then all of a sudden there's a big kickoff, so it's like, oh yeah, we better get rid of you.
Yeah.
God, come on.
And because of that, they literally are going to lose him to DC now. Like, once he's done Guardians 3, I'm pretty sure that's his last Marvel project, and then he's got multiple projects lined up with DC. He's confirmed that.
Yeah. And he does right.
You fucked up, Disney.
Yeah. No,
I'd love to see what he's going to do. Peacemaker looks like it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be really good.
I've never been so hyped to see Vigilante in my life.
Yeah, I think I'm interested to see the take on that.
Same.
And before we get too far down the DC rabbit hole again, I don't know if any of you guys watched the show, if either of you watched the show Arrow.
Oh yeah.
But that I thought the take that they took on Vigilante in that was very interesting. So I'm interested to see this next incarnation of it.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, was it the Batman animated series or was it one of the Justice League animated series that had, maybe it was just an episode with Vigilante, but I think it was one. I could be mistaken. It honestly could have been Young Justice. A lot of those animation styles end up looking very similar once you've seen them all. Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think it was Young Justice.
I think there was the more modern version in Young Justice, like with the mask and everything. But I know the cowboy version of Vigilante was in the Justice League Unlimited series.
I love that show. So
dude,
good.
You guys will find as we do more, as I'm on more and more of the podcast, that I have just a wealth of useless DC and Marvel knowledge just sitting in my head.
Welcome.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Oh, it's yeah. I wouldn't even say unfortunately. Mine goes beyond that as well. Like I've shown the guys a couple times. I have the entire boys comic collection sitting like on my shelf over there as well. I do know a lot about that. Same with Invincible. Invincible really I got really into this year. But
I'm the guy that nobody ever wants to get into an argument with about either Marvel or DC because after they never want to do it again.
Yeah, it's like, why did I fucking do this? It's like did I want to be?
They'll be telling me I'm wrong. They'll tell me I'm wrong about something, and I'll say look it up, and then they're on their phone looking, and then they always look up and they're like,
oh shit.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just let people talk, and I'll just go on my phone, hear them make a point that I know is wrong, just show them what I'm looking at. They'll be like, all right, fuck off, and just leave. And it's like, okay. It's like Spider-Man didn't have organic webbing to start in the comics. I don't know what you're talking about, man. But all right. Yeah.
Yo, transitioning to far No Way Home again. If there are 3 Spider-Men, I'm very interested to see whether or not, if Maguire's in the movie, if he's going to have the organic.
He has to.
Or
surely.
I hope he does.
Really?
I really hope he does, because I think in a few of the leaks, there's been like a potential leaked line of Tom's where it's like, is that web coming out of you or something like that? There's like, do you have blood webs?
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I think that'd be hilarious. Because Tom would look at Toby, and Toby would look at Tom, and they'd both be like, huh?
Toby would probably be sitting there. It's like, wait, you guys have to refill them? That just seems very anti-time consumption.
Yeah.
I mean, just actually before
they don't have.
Oh, sorry.
They don't have Andrew and Tom don't have to worry about all of a sudden it doesn't work and they're falling 70 feet onto an air duct.
That's true.
Yeah, putting the back out.
Actually, just speaking of that, I did just finish the Raimi films completely now in my rewatch. So
I got a rewatch.
It's TASM, then Homecoming and Far From Home. I'm gonna save for the week before the movie, but I'm pretty pumped. But there is one more end credit scene from Eternals, despite the rabbit hole we so frequently tend to go down to. This one, for I don't know about you guys. Actually, wait, Bill. I don't know about you, Chris. I know, Bill, you haven't seen this yet, but you have heard about it. To me, this was the big one. This was the big one. There was a tease in the movie where Athena's training with Excalibur, and Sprite's like, "Oh, is that the Ebony Blade?" And she's like, "Nah, it's Excalibur." So that's a big one too. That's in it, but also we finally see the Ebony Blade, and Dane is looking kind of like, do I grab it? Do I grab it? And right as he's about to, we hear a voice. Now, again, this is someone I don't know. I did say this immediately in the theater. I heard the voice and I was like, that kind of sounded like Mahershala Ali. And a few of my friends were like, no, I don't know. I was like, well, like it's either him or it's got to be like the Watcher. And then I was like thinking about it. I was like, I think that's Blade. Like, I was convinced it was Blade, and then obviously, like, I went home, and the next day Chloe Zhao posted that article with Variety or whatever, and she was like,
Yeah.
It's like, so who was that talking in the end scene? She was like, oh, Mr. Blade. Blade, 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 Blade. And I was like, oh, okay,
Um,
good.
I'm surprised she's said that. I mean, she's obviously been given permission. I'm
Yeah.
assuming from Marvel, but
Well,
I I was convinced it was the Watcher, Jeffrey Wright. I heard, that's what I heard, but obviously not.
Well, the interesting thing I read is that when she was doing that interview with Variety in the first place, and they asked her that question, the part they didn't publish is that she said she told them, "Okay, I'll tell you, but you can't publish the article until after the premiere."
Yeah.
All right.
There,
Wow.
I forget. There was something else they mentioned. Oh no, it was just more comments on Harry Styles. I think in the movie as well. It was pretty much the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
okay, that's one
I'm
thing. Like I had so many girls messaging me like, "Oh my god, did you see the new Eternals movie?" It's like, yeah, I did, and I know why you're messaging me about it. Just, please,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not
I
go
must
down that rabbit hole.
yeah. I'm still surprised that they confirmed it as being Blade. I really thought they could have had fun with the fans with that because, like I said, I was convinced it was Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was convinced it was him. So
Well,
and I've
I
seen
mean,
online loads of different, not just Blade, not just the Watcher. There's been other people saying different. I can't think off the top of my
I saw
head,
Blue
but
Marvel as one of them.
yeah, I think loads of people have been mentioned. Oh, it was him, or it was her. But they could have really had fun with us with that.
Hmm.
But um,
see, and I think they're just starting to because you don't see him, you just hear the voice.
mm,
Yeah,
vampires were mentioned
in
in
Loki.
film.
And
Yeah.
No, vampires were mentioned in Eternals.
oh
He
yeah,
tried
they
to
were
stab me.
too.
He tried to
Yeah,
stake me through the heart.
I thought you were a vampire, sir. That was oh yeah, I did forget about that honestly. But like
Yeah.
I'm just thinking there's been rumors going around for a while that we're gonna get Blade in this Moon Knight show that's coming out next year.
Oh, really?
There's been
All
rumors
right.
of it, nothing really
Surely,
concrete.
surely they're not going to introduce them in that though. Surely they're just going to wait for someone that big. They're not going to bring him in the TV shows, are they not?
I
I
don't
wouldn't have
know.
thought.
I wouldn't have thought that about Kang either, though, to
You
say the
know,
least.
but it
No.
also could be similar to the way they did Kang, where he's teased all season, and then you get a scene,
Yeah.
one scene at the end.
Yeah, it's probably going to
Yeah.
be Black Knight and Blade showing up. It's like, all right, let's hunt them down. And then it's probably going to, the end scene of Moon Knight. Here we go. We just pitched the show, even though it's finished filming. It'll just be the Midnight Suns will return. Don't think it'll
Yeah.
say that without them mentioning the team at all, but like, I think that's the direction they're going with those characters.
Yeah. When's Blade coming out again?
It hasn't been
Is it
announced.
23.
been pushed back again?
It hasn't been announced officially on the slate. So there is one position left for 2023, which I think it's going to be Blade. If it's not, it's going to be Deadpool or the Fantastic Four. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, so now 2023 doesn't have 4 films in it. It doesn't have 5 films in it. It has 4. So, which I don't know if that's a bad thing. Kind of pick your poison, I guess. But
Yeah.
I gotta check up like the listing for it. But yeah, either way, I am very excited to see a Blade movie. If I'm gonna have to do my one random offshoot of theory that I hope potentially happens, like my Andrew and Toby are gonna be Uncle Ben and Richard Parker for Tom. Don't think that's happening, but we'll see.
No.
I'm also gonna have to say I would very much like Wesley Snipes to be playing Dracula in the MCU.
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be something else. I don't think it's too likely that he's gonna come back, especially after the third Blade film. But that was in Marvel Studios.
Yeah. And you know what though? I think Snipes. I don't know if Dracula's the right one for him,
No, that's just
but
my pipe dream.
he could be in. I think he could easily be put in the movie somewhere. That could be a nice nod to what he did before.
Yeah, even like a Lou Ferrigno in the Incredible Hulk type cameo, something like that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
100%. Have you heard the rumor that they're potentially going to ask Chris Evans to cameo in the Fantastic Four movie?
Yes.
On speaking on a similar note, and I'm very curious to know what that would even look like.
Me too. Me too. Like, is it gonna be? Are we gonna get an old man Cap? Is it gonna be Johnny from the early 2000 series?
No, no, I'm against all that.
I think if Chris Evans is coming back as Johnny Storm, it's gonna be a multiverse of
But
madness.
as long as it's not another gym class video, I'm good. Because yeah, that
Yep.
was not.
Yeah, the thing is
Patience.
with it,
Fuck off, Chris.
yeah,
So you got detention.
yeah, yeah.
That end credit
So,
scene at the end of Homecoming was cruel.
oh,
Cruel.
was. The thing is, I just don't think you can. I think it's too gimmicky to have someone like Chris Evans appear in Fantastic Four for me. If it was in like Deadpool, I get it. You know what I mean? I get that the sort of the humor and stuff, but I don't know. It for me it wouldn't work. I don't think.
I have a thought about how it might work. Because if they aren't gonna do Old Man Cap, and
They
let's
could do
also
them
do
well.
this. Let's say hypothetically, Marvel's gonna stick to it, and Fantastic Four is gonna be the first family, but it's gonna take place in the past. And maybe when they go into space to get their powers, they end up getting lost. Maybe you have to go fight a little Kree Skrull war. Maybe, I don't know, Rick Jones pops up for some reason. He helps him out and helps him win. I don't know. I don't think that's exactly what they're going to do. I know it was like old leaks when they first got Fox projects that it was like, oh yeah, it's going to be like 50s, 40s setting for Fantastic Four. End of the movie's going to be present day. I think they're just going to go present day. WandaVision set it up really nicely and everything we saw at Sword. So,
Yeah, yeah.
More interesting scenario: when they get sucked in. Let's say they do a different dimension thing again to get their powers, right? What if they're transported to Vormir and they run into Cap bringing the Soul Stone back?
actually, I could see that. Yeah. That would be
And
sick.
then the
I'll go with
Fantastic
that.
Four's powers are caused by the Infinity Stones.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was, anyways.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of the route they're going to take for it, personally. Because there's, like, cosmic radiation, as much as it worked in the 60s, it's not as much of an excuse anymore because we know what it is.
Yeah. And the Infinity Stones, however, already have an established history in the MCU of giving people powers.
Yep. And it's a similar type of radiation that the Hulk has, which also we saw Gamma gives him power.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so fuck, it's gonna be an interesting time going forward. I'm very much looking forward to seeing a lot of these characters again.
I'm
Yep.
just amazed by how many we've got on the board at the moment. Because okay, we've lost a few, but not that many. And we've got many more being introduced. It's just yeah, there's a lot going on, and I'm going to be interested to see how this, if it does come together in an Avengers film or a, I don't know, whatever they call it, when they all
An
come together.
event.
I'm assuming that an event, yeah. I'm assuming that's what it's leading up to. You would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they've got to be careful with it because it is going to be difficult to top Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Which
Very much agreed.
And I know the overarching theory out there right now is that the big bad is Kang the Conqueror. But
yeah,
I don't
The
know, man. The way that they teased him in Loki, he's supposed to be the main bad guy in in the next Ant-Man. So if he's going to be the main bad guy in Ant-Man, is he really that big of a threat that they need an event like Thanos was?
They've introduced him very, very early. If he is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Thanos was sort of drip fed
Yep.
for quite a while. And to be fair, didn't really turn up until Infinity War, did he? So yeah, but saying that, they do have to do something different. You know, it can't be the same.
No.
So
And honestly, so
yeah,
for me, honestly, then the next logical choice is probably Galactus, especially if Fantastic Four is announced and it's coming.
yeah,
Once you get them in there, Galactus becomes to me the next logical that big of an event.
I'll say also after Eternals, I think that's a very good theory, to say the
yeah,
least. Like, I think
yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. We're bringing in the Celestials. Like, Galactus is the first being in the universe. He's technically he's not exactly a Celestial that the Celestials like Arishem are, but he is a Celestial being still. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
it's yeah, no, I'm 100% on board with that. I think if they're gonna
Yeah.
do anyone else, uh, maybe Apocalypse and do him right, or Onslaught. But I feel like Onslaught would be way down the line. Like, introduce the X-Men, give us some story about Xavier and Meg and Eric, whichever they're gonna do his last name as. We'll see. And
Yeah.
then maybe give us Onslaught then. But yeah, I do also want Onslaught to be kind of a overarching villain and not just an X-Men one. But yeah, it's fucked. We don't have a Fantastic Four movie yet. We don't have the X-Men introduced yet, and the universe is huge.
It
Yeah.
is.
Like,
It is.
and just
Yeah.
those two alone add so much to it.
But I also think the Eternals has been, and without saying too much, it it it's setting up a lot of stuff. I felt, or certainly preparing us for stuff to come,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not just what was in the two end credit scenes as well.
Well, I think potentially that the three that got taken, um, so we're told someone's supposed to be rendering judgment. I don't necessarily think it's a celestial rendering judgment. I think it's the living tribunal.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
That's what I'm on board with. And then the Living Tribunal's gonna realize like partway through when they're judging Kingo Sprite and Cersei. Living Tribunal's probably gonna turn to Arishem and be like, "Didn't you have an experiment going on Earth anyways?" And he's gonna be like, "Yeah, the Eternals." He's gonna be like, "No, no, that other one where you gave humans powers." And he'll be like, "Oh fuck, can't destroy it. Shit." And there, mutants. That's what I think they're gonna do. I think it's gonna be one of maybe an Arishem scheme. Because originally I thought they were gonna do it like it was just gonna be like they were gonna show scenes of the Eternals kind of just randomly hooking up with people through time, and there was none of that. So
Well,
yeah,
I think you're on the right track there too, because I think Wanda is part of the experiment, and it was the Infinity Stone that, well, the Mind Stone that was the catalyst for whatever the experiment was to work. And the mutants are going to start emerging because they got blasted with the same energy when Thanos snapped.
yeah, yeah,
I do still
yeah.
think there's mutants that exist already, though. I'll say that. I'm gonna die on the hill that they're on Krakoa. I think I've told Chris this a few times and also Zach, but like my ideal ending for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is like post credit scene starts. Doctor Strange is like he's telling Wanda, he's like, all right, you fucked up, but like I know somewhere where you can be safe, and it's just gonna be one of the Krakoan portals opening, and it's gonna be Professor X just walking out because he can in this run with his whole like X like helmet on. That way you don't need to actually cast an actor, and then just have someone maybe you already do have cast as the X-Men be like, like "Come with Us, Wanda," and then X-Men theme plays, cut to black.
Yep.
But I don't think it's really is a pipe dream. I just really want to hear that X-Men animated theme just play in
Well,
the
and you
theaters.
know what though? If they're gonna be true to the comics with the X-Men, which I'll give Marvel Studios this, they are very true to the comics on a lot of aspects. I mean, my most obvious thing that I point out every time is all the way back in the first Iron Man movie, his first suit looks like
Yeah.
classic Iron Man. So your theory that there's mutants already there, if they're going to be true to the comics, then whoever they cast as Logan is obviously already a mutant and already out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Because with his history of living through, all the wars, he's out there somewhere.
I think we've touched on that before on previous podcasts about what do you do with the history of the X-Men? Like how is that sort of brought in? And I think that's when we've maybe talked about, oh well, it could be a different universe, and they come in and they've got that history, or do they just start from now and we don't have that back history, or are they on Earth now in this timeline? It's interesting how they're gonna sort all that out and bring all that in.
Yeah, and honestly, I think they're just going to do there's been a few enough of them over the years that they could just remain hidden. If there's only the 4 or 5 X-Men, let's say, Cyclops, Jean, Storm, whatever, Magneto, Professor X, Logan. Okay, that's a pretty small group that could stay under the radar, and you can still have, Magneto having his backstory of, being in the Holocaust and all that, and you can still have Professor X having this school, but he only it's less of a school as much as it is, a safe house, type thing, and then boom, mutants start emerging. And you've got Magneto trying to recruit them for waging war on regular people, and then you've got the X-Men trying to say, no, we can coexist. Look at the 5 of us.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I think that's kind of the route they're gonna go. I feel like, well, mind you, I don't think the first X-Men project we're gonna get is gonna actually heavily focus on a lot of the characters that were in the Fox movies. Like, I think they're gonna be there, but I think they might try to focus a bit more on the second generation of the X-Men. Like, maybe more like, I'd consider Storm in that little bit too. Like, maybe, what's his name? It's not Thunderbird, is it? I think so. Thunderbird, like Nightcrawler, maybe even Colossus, throw someone like that. Magic's more of New Mutants, so.
You must, surely they're going to bring Professor X and Magneto.
You can't do it without them. Yeah.
Wolverine?
Which version? Are we talking like we want James Howlett Logan? Do we want Dakin? Do we want, or Dakin, however the hell you say it?
Yeah.
Do we want X-23?
Well, again, that's the question, isn't it?
Oh, and then there's another one now. I think her name's like Gabrielle or something like that. It's like Logan's actual daughter.
Oh, okay. Well, again, that's the question. Do you have Wolverine in it? I think they will. How big, the previous Wolverine has been.
They teased his bar in Madripoor.
They did.
Yeah, the Princess Bar. That's what Patch, who's Wolverine, owns in Madripoor.
Yeah.
This is his kind of, but like it's his.
Yeah. But I think they unfortunately have to have a Wolverine in it.
Yeah.
And I think because of the bar set by Hugh Jackman, I think that fan perception of the new Wolverine is going to either make or break whatever the X-Men debut with.
That's why I personally think they should leave Wolverine out, which might sound controversial because the problem is they're stuck with the fact that Wolverine's very popular because of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
but they're sort of a little bit stuck because of that, and then they'll be thinking, well, we have to sort of bring Wolverine back because he's so popular. But is it going to be? Is he going to be? Is the new Wolverine going to be as popular because it's not Hugh Jackman? It's a difficult one.
Mhm.
But
You know what though? I'm not entirely convinced that they won't be able to get Hugh Jackman
Same,
because
actually.
honestly, think about it. That opens the door for him and Ryan Reynolds to bring their dynamic to Logan and Deadpool.
yeah,
It, and just beside that, everybody's got a price.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
And Disney can afford way more than Fox ever could have to keep paying him.
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. Is it a money thing for him though? I don't know. Maybe money will talk. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't I don't think he stepped away because of money. I think he stepped away because he was happy with what he had put out.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't think that necessarily excludes money from bringing him back in,
I
especially because the one thing actors like that always say is they tell you never say never, because if it's the right situation, the right story,
yeah, true.
and let's face it, they've got some pretty good writers.
Oh God,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Also, we can't
Is he
forget the
is he
fact
not?
that Hugh Jackman did say if the X-Men ever cross over with the Avengers, he wants to be a part of that.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
that was like
No,
well
there
before
we
the
go.
Fox deal too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So,
was way before
mhm.
Fox.
How old is he now, though? Are we not running out of time from the
I want to say
bulk up
50s.
again?
Yeah, but I mean the way it is,
Saying that Robert Downey Jr. he must be similar age, is he not?
I think so.
yeah,
Maybe older.
but here's the thing. Depending on how they portray him costume wise, if they've got
Yeah.
him in the actual a truer version of Wolverine's suit with a mask, well, that opens it up. You can get a stunt double in the mask,
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
make it a whole lot easier on Hugh physically as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I hope they do, but for some reason, just ever since Val showed up, started to recruit John Walker. Now clearly has recruited Yelena Belova. I think
Yeah,
we're getting the Dark Avengers,
Mm.
and Dakin was a key member of that team. But it's also hard to say because it could be the Thunderbolts. Because then there was that huge list of rumored films like Nova and the Illuminati, and the Thunderbolts was also on that list. So if
Yeah.
that's the case, I wouldn't put him on that team at all.
and you know what? Val was we she wasn't really a prominent character, but she weaved her way in and out of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And another very prominent member of the Thunderbolts got apprehended and sent to the raft, where, oh yeah, General Ross is running the show.
Yep. And I
You
think
know,
something a lot of us forget because aside from like an offhanded scene and mentions from Kevin Feige himself, the Abomination's on the raft as well.
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, Abomination was Thunderbolts, not Dark Avengers, right?
No, Thunderbolts was Red Hulk.
Red. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh,
Thunderbolts
so that's what
was
they're gonna. I.
General Ross as Red Hulk.
But we didn't know it was Ross until like the end of like because he was introduced and then there was like a 2 year period where it was like who actually is the Red Hulk, and no one figured it'd
Yeah,
be the guy with the same mustache and hair as him. But
yeah.
like, still can't believe that. But or Rulk, that's what people were calling him for a bit.
And I think honestly, with She-Hulk coming, obviously it's we're gonna find a way for people to effectively get transferred or copied Hulk's powers,
Yeah.
because Abomination tried to get the Hulk's powers and it went horribly wrong. But with She-Hulk coming, it's clearly going to be happening more.
Actually, just speaking of that, do you think we're getting the leader again too? Because he was infused with some of Banner's blood.
I was just about to say that we saw that and it dripped into his head, didn't it? The
Yeah.
wound in his head.
Yeah,
It's
you
it's
know,
another
and
one.
I got to be honest. Before Civil War, I would have said no way
Yeah.
because they really did everything they could to avoid acknowledging the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk movie.
Mm-hmm.
But now they brought back Ross. You know, I've read a rumor online that they're trying to get Liv Tyler to return for the She-Hulk series
That'd be
as
awesome.
Betty Ross. You know, they had a whole episode where they rehashed an entire scene from that movie in What If.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now, honestly, I think it's very possible we could get the leader again.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope so.
I
Good villain.
I've also seen stuff online, and I don't know how much credence is in this because I very much doubt it, that they're looking to try and do a Hulk solo film.
Yeah, specifically World War Hulk.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is meant to come out of She-Hulk, or She-Hulk series is going to set that up, and which sort of throws up a lot of questions because is it Paramount that have the distribution rights for
It's
Hulk?
Universal. So they
Universal,
have the
sorry.
rights to
Yeah.
Hulk and Hulk related characters and also Namor and some related characters to
Alright.
Namor. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
the thing is, like with a lot of those deals, what we saw was if you didn't make a film after a certain amount of time, the rights revert.
Ah, right.
Namor
Okay.
hadn't been used at all. Also, if they still had that same kind of deal like Disney would have had to pay them, I don't think they could have even got a She-Hulk show off the ground because that'd be a Hulk-related character.
Mm,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of under like obviously nothing's been stated publicly. This is kind of just me assuming. I've been under the assumption they've been well back at Disney for a while or Marvel for a while, and that they're kind of incorporating them and they're just going to kind of spoon feed us a few of them project to project. Because there is a
Yeah.
rumor that the main villain of Wakanda Forever is going to be Namor.
Mm.
So,
Is he a Black Panther?
You know what?
Namor's not even a hero. Like
Well,
he's not.
yeah. Right. Yeah.
He's like
He's a Black Panther
Namor
villain.
is
He's a Black Panther.
Namor is very much, I would say, the love child of Aquaman and Black Adam.
Yeah, which is weird because he came out before both of them too.
Yeah. No, so what I think you're on the right track with the film rights there. Because Universal had all the rights to those characters. They had rights to a lot of Marvel characters, which is why if you go to Universal Studios in Orlando, they've got all kinds of Marvel themed rides and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But Disney, that now owns Marvel Studios, was able to build Avengers Campus at Disneyland, California.
Right.
The only reason they don't have an Avengers Campus at Disney World in Florida is because the state of Florida still has those rights as belonging to Universal. But honestly, I think that's all Universal has at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
only theme stuff, like theme park stuff, like the actual like film rights. I think have reverted back,
Right. Okay.
which might mean that Universal may still have some merchandising rights. But I actually, you know
Yeah.
what? I doubt they do because a lot of the deals that took place when Marvel was going bankrupt and they sold off a lot of these properties was to retain the merchandise. Because that's all like Marvel wanted. They just wanted the toy sales because that's what Avi Arad thought would sell.
Yeah.
Which also, if the rumors are true, I'm very glad he's not involved in the new Spider-Man movie. Because according to rumors, which I don't even know if we've talked about this, because I don't know if this came out the last time we did a podcast, but like he was the big person who was like, yeah, we aren't referencing, like you aren't using any Spider-Man, like really big characters at all. We aren't touching on anyone that Tasm or Raimi used. Didn't want to do anything of that. He didn't.
Yeah.
He cut an Uncle Ben like it was going to be Tony's grave, or no, sorry, it was going to be his parents' graves and Uncle Ben's grave in the Far From Home like zombie scene that Mysterio puts him through, and Avi Rad's like, no, Tony Stark.
Yeah. Okay.
That sucked, but I'll get over it eventually.
So let's. I got one more thing since you bring up the Raimi films again. Have you guys seen the set photos that came out the other week?
Which ones?
So there was the one where it was like there was two, I think, actually, that were more like production, like sketches, and one was unmistakably looked like the Raimi Spider-Man, and the other one was unmistakably looking like Willem Dafoe in the Raimi suit with a couple of modifications to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there was the picture of an actual person in what is clearly the Raimi Green Goblin suit, with, again, the grenade bag and all that stuff that you normally would have had in the comics. And then there's the big one, which is the picture of the Spider-Man suits hanging on the rack, and it is clearly Maguire's, Garfield's, and Holland's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I've been convinced for so long that they've been all in this movie, or I wouldn't say convinced. I'd say hyping myself up more so that they're all in this movie. Going even back to the still of Andrew that came out, that's clearly not from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. His hair's as long as it was in the interview he did the week after. Like, oh man, nah.
I'm gonna be gutted if they're not in it. It's been bigged up, and maybe wrongly so. You know, if
Mephisto
it is just sort
Part 2.
of fan art.
I almost wonder if it hasn't been hyped up so much that at some point in the production they said, we need to write a couple of more scenes and get these guys in it.
I wouldn't even be
and
surprised.
I wonder if that wasn't even part of like reshoots, because I honestly, I think Marvel's pretty good at listening to the fans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
We got the 10-hour Zemo dancing cut literally the night after that episode released.
Yeah.
It took 2 years for the Snyder cut.
Yeah. But so I think they very much realize that this movie's going to make a bunch of money anyway. But the minute that it hits as a quote unquote confirmation on premiere night that Maguire and Garfield are in it, that movie's not getting touched by anything the entire year.
Yeah.
And I can't believe Sony's releasing Morbius 4 weeks after, because it's going to be hilarious when Morbius debuts at number 2 to Spider-Man No Way Home for the 4th week in a row.
Yeah.
Like,
is that 4 weeks after?
4 weeks.
And I think if they're actually there in it, I think that's exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to, we kind of spoiled it for you, Chris, but the timing in which the supposed transition were to happen, it looks like Venom will be in No Way Home in some capacity.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
However, I still don't think he's the 6th villain. Just saying.
Well, did you see what I put on our Facebook?
I did.
Page with the 5 that apparently have been confirmed, and I'm still a little bit unsure about them 5, because I know we've got Doc Ock, we've got Green Goblin,
Electro.
Sorry.
Jamie Foxx,
Electro. Now, them actors have been confirmed, I thought.
Yes.
But then the Sandman, which I know has been heavily in the trailers, it looks like Sandman.
Yeah.
But I don't think Hayden Church has been confirmed. I'm pretty sure he hasn't.
He hasn't. He and Marvel Studios haven't officially come out and said that he's in it. But the thing is the Empire magazine cover there's a Sandman hand on it.
Right.
There is.
Okay.
And
yeah.
There's also a lizard symbol somewhere on there as well.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Right.
But is that them just dropping Easter eggs to make you go, well, is it lizard or is it Sandman or is it?
Because I wouldn't even doubt it.
Yeah.
Like,
I suppose if they're, if Sandman and Lizard are in, then it has to be them actors, I suppose, because there hasn't been any. Oh well, there was a Raimi.
Yeah, but he never became the Lizard.
He never
It was just
became
Kirk
Lizard,
Connors.
did he? Yeah, yeah.
I'm
But
actually
that's
kind of sad he didn't get to be the Lizard. I really liked him as just Dr. Connors.
Yeah, yeah, it was okay. Yeah, surely it has to be Vulture though, the sixth one. He's already there.
That's what I'd think, and if not, like I saw people saying Venom. After seeing Let There Be Carnage, Venom as a villain doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Just it might to an extent of the hive mind, whereas Venom's always gonna have the hatred for Spider-Man.
Yes.
But like, I don't know. I'm
I
without
could, you know
spoiling.
what though?
Yeah.
I could see the 5 of the 6, whether, so Ock, Electro, Goblin, whoever,
Ant-Man. Yeah,
being in it as they have some kind of master plan. And Venom's only there because he wants Spider-Man.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
He doesn't care about whatever their plan is, whatever they're trying to steal, take over, whatever. He just wants Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm honestly half wondering if the symbiote's gonna detach from Eddie and just hop onto Peter, and they'll just do it a little reverse from what they did in the comics.
Maybe. But, especially with the way he says, sorry, Chris, not to spoil it for you, but in the Venom's credit scene, the way he looks at the TV and goes, "Oh, that guy!"
Yeah.
Like right there, I was like, "Oh, he wants some of that. He wants to fight him right now."
Yep. Oh yeah. Fuck. I'm so hyped for that. Also, I keep forgetting there's like a year of like Spider-Man's career in the MCU that we just don't really know what happened in it. Because when we pick up with him in Civil War, he's an established Spider-Man. And he has been for a while.
Well,
like I'm
he's
assuming
a-
it was just petty crimes and stuff he was stopping, but
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
maybe if they really wanted to pull something like that, maybe it was like, oh yeah, he had a. I don't think he did anything with a symbiote before. That's not something you can leave out. But I don't know.
Maybe he ran into Venom, and that's where he got the idea to make the webbing.
Yeah.
Like maybe he was already climbing walls and was super strong, but he got the idea to do webbing by seeing Venom do, stopping a petty crime.
Yep.
yeah. We'll go with that.
And that movie is coming to us in. I'm trying to think of the date today.
17th,
Yeah. So
17th December.
just
About
over 30 days.
6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 6.5 weeks, I think.
I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
I will be going to the Thursday night screening 100%, to say the least.
Yeah.
Me too.
That one, yeah, there's definitely no question. I've got to see it before anything gets out online.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
But I really think in the trailer, I think Doc Ock is talking to Tobey Maguire.
same, actually.
Yeah.
Why would he know who Tom Snoop Peter?
Yeah.
And I think that he's talking to Tobey Maguire, and they just cut the trailer that way to make it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because let's all not forget that Hulk hulked out in Wakanda in the trailer, and then had some performance issues in Infinity War.
Yeah.
I still won't
personally.
forgive them for that.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of, have you ever gone on and watched the deleted scene
Yeah.
of
It
the
was
concept
sick.
was where he just pops into Smart Hulk right there at the Battle of Wakanda?
Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, I guess we did figure it out.
Yeah, and Nat goes to do the whole lullaby thing, and he goes, "No, Nat, it's cool."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which
I wish we got
honestly,
that.
to me, biggest missed opportunity from those two movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
100%. Because I know, I mean, I'm sure Endgame's been discussed relentlessly on here, but the way that I could never get past the way they introduced Smart Hulk. It was just too blunt.
Yeah.
That's pretty much exactly, I think, was our opinions, wasn't it,
Yeah.
Tom?
It's like,
And it, you know, to me, it was always like,
Endgame was a brilliant film, but that's where it sort of dropped the ball a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, because it to me, in that scene at the diner, Hulk literally says, "I know, I'm wearing shirts now,"
yeah,
and that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, "What?
yeah,
You're wearing shirts?"
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Yeah, that was unexpected to say the least. I don't want to say it wasn't welcomed, but I don't know. I personally, if I ever rewatch Endgame, I've said this before on the podcast, but like I skip through that scene usually. I think it's really like cringy, especially no offense to the Russos. I get they wanted their like I don't know if it's their kids or their nieces and nephews to have like a cameo. I'm sorry, that is an awful like cringy scene. I have to skip
Oh,
through that. The
was,
kids just keep staring at the camera. I love the Russos. I hope
look,
they're back for Secret Wars or Wolverine, but that's not it.
in 2019, I actually went and saw Endgame in theaters probably 4 times in its opening week. Because at the time I was working nights, so like I just after not after opening night, I just got up and I would go at like the 12 o'clock showing, and there'd nobody be in the theater, so I just watch it 3 or 4 times.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I started realizing because the premiere, I sat through that sucker. I didn't even get a drink. I just sat through it.
Same.
But on the next couple of rewatches, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a large soda, and I went to the bathroom during the Hulk scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the time to go.
Really is.
I saw Endgame. I'd probably say amount about 4 times in theaters just opening week, and it was like
Yeah.
first time like opening night. That was I've never had a theater experience like that before in my life. I'll be shocked if I have one like it again. But yeah, after that, every other
Wait,
time it was
let me
like,
ask, let me ask. Were you in one of the theaters where like the whole place erupted at certain moments? Oh, I love that.
it was
I love
awesome.
that. I'm gonna have to disagree with you though. I think the biggest pop I've ever gotten was actually during Infinity War when
Oh.
Thor shows up in Wakanda.
Oh,
Oh
actually, you know
well,
what? That
yeah.
was huge.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know, just when Spider-Man comes back after like the portals start to open, like I remember that like my theater, I think that was the loudest the theater was. Maybe second to Cap lifting Mjolnir.
Yeah, that was the loudest one for
Yeah.
me.
Because it
That
happened
was
and
the
everyone,
loudest
like me
one.
and all my friends just turned to each other, we're like, I fucking knew it! It was like, yes!
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Though I mean, God, it's again, like I said, it's going to be hard for them to top that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
definitely.
I don't know about you
Definitely.
guys, but well, I guess let's just apply this only to Shang-Chi because there was like some audible reactions in the Eternals post-credit scenes for me. Not much during the movie. There was a few things during the movie of Shang-Chi where the audience was a little more loud, kind of like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah." But the end credit scene there, like the theater erupted. Again, Venom Let There Be
Oh,
Carnage is still the loudest I've heard a theater this year.
Mm.
But
yeah.
it's they are never topping that, but it's good to see that they still can deliver that kind of surprise.
Yeah.
I don't know that they will never top it. It's just going to be very difficult.
Yeah. Sorry, not anytime in the near future. Actually,
It's
I say that in the next movie, Spider-Man with the multiverse. So
I was going to
I'll
say
take it
you
back.
say that, and
yeah.
then Tobey Maguire is going to swing onto the into the camera frame, and the theater's just going to lose it.
She's gonna be like, "Sorry, Doctor Strange, I'm gonna come with you and help sort out this madness of the multiverse." And it'll be like a real Sony type line where it's just like too on the nose. Like, oh.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm convinced Toby's sticking around for Multiverse of Madness, or if it's not him, I think Andrew is. One of them are.
You think?
I think it'll be Toby.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Personally,
they
I
go with the
think
more beloved one.
that. Yeah, I was going to say that, and I think just in general, Toby's a better actor than Andrew.
I might have to disagree with you on that.
Oh,
I don't think Tobey's a great actor personally.
I think he did really. I think if we're gonna base it off just the Spider-Man movies, I think Tobey was way better as Peter Parker than Andrew was.
I completely agree with that, but I'd have to counter you in saying that Andrew was a way better Spider-Man than Tobey was.
Because he had better quips and one-liners.
100%, I'm gonna say that. I do love the way that Andrew looks swinging because CGI was good enough then where you could make it look more realistic.
yeah.
But just rewatching, like having just rewatched the Raimi films, it is insane to see how good the swinging was in that from 2002. Like, it's amazing. Like, no matter what you want to say, everyone's going to have their favorite.
It's very clear at certain points that, okay, he's on a wire.
Yeah.
But there's other times where it's seamless.
Yeah, like come Spider-Man 3, it's all seamless.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I still find the fight scene with Doc Ock on top of the train is one of the best sort of fight scenes. Not just in a Spider-Man, but in a comic book film. I think it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
So, caveat to that, do you think they're paying homage to that scene? Because you've seen the No Way Home trailer with the trains.
Yep. I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost looks like the same train car.
I wonder.
I'm wondering if that's not the scene that Doc Ock comes into the film on.
I think it will be personally. And I'm just wondering, are we gonna have Joey Diaz just stand up and be like, "You want to get to him, you got to go through me"? Like that's all I'm wondering. I'd love me some Joey Diaz.
Now, I do too, but I'm gonna say this: the thing I need. I mean, I will almost be more mad if it plays out like this, where Tobey is in the film, but his entrance does not have the Raimi Spider-Man theme playing behind it.
100%, yeah. That if they don't enter with their themes playing, why? Like, if you're gonna play the MCU theme, why would you do that?
Yeah, they will do. Surely
they have to.
Yeah.
And it's actually an established live action theme. It's not as much of a pipe dream as like me going, "Oh, I want the X-Men animated series from the '90s intro to play during this."
Yeah.
Whereas they remixed the '60s one for Spider-Man in the MCU, but how realistic is it they're gonna do it again?
Yeah, no. And honestly, I don't think the Raimi one for sure doesn't need a remix. It just needs to.
Yeah.
Literally just pick it up, play it. Well, there was a little trailer description leak for the second one, and it did say at the end you're not gonna see that there's Andrew and Tobey there, but apparently Strange is going to be like, "Oh, I think you need some help," or someone's going to say, "Oh, I think you need some help." It's going to be two silhouettes, and then a mixture of the Raimi and Webb themes start playing. So
interesting.
Yeah, but mind you, that's I don't know if it was a 4chan leak or if it was just someone on Reddit taking something someone said on Twitter, which is half of what it is, anyways.
That's the thing. There's so much.
Are we getting that? Did we figure out, is that trailer dropping tomorrow?
I do not think so.
No, I don't know. I think that was me.
I wouldn't be surprised because Eternals, whether they like it or not, has not done well in the reviews and online.
But box office wise, it's second best opening of the pandemic.
Behind what?
Fast 9, because it released in China.
Oh, gotcha. Makes sense.
Eternals got the China ban, and I think most of the Middle Eastern countries. It's rated R in Russia, and it's literally all because two guys kiss. So,
yeah,
as we can see, progression.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure from
Marvel's.
At least they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to watch how much they push the jacket on that stuff if they want to keep having worldwide profits the way they have.
But I don't know, just seeing this, how much it made, I wonder if they aren't gonna. It's not gonna phase them. This is making more money than some MCU films pre-pandemic made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is surprising.
Yeah, I don't know. I think are people just not wanting to get back to see Marvel again, though. They've had that much of a break, and the TV stuff's good, but you know,
But they
it's
want that theater experience.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. They want to get back in and see films.
Which, by
And
the
so
way,
I think
It's good. It's good.
I don't think Eternals is going to do that well overall. I think it's having a great opening weekend because people want to be back in the theaters watching Marvel.
yeah,
And all we've had is Shang-Chi, and I mean that was great. I mean that was great personally for me. But I think people that just made people want more,
yeah,
especially with Spider-Man coming.
Yeah, yeah,
And but I think this one's gonna honestly, I think Eternals may end up in the long run disappointing, but like as we get it into like a full month, um, but I think that's just gonna make people want Spider-Man more.
yeah.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
Especially if they do end up releasing a second trailer, it's gonna air before Eternals.
Mm.
Like, which, by the way, this is a bit of an off-topic, offhand thing, but before Venom, Let There Be Carnage, I'm assuming everyone else's trailer played the No Way Home trailer. Well, mine played the Far From Home trailer. I'm not even kidding you. Like, the it started and I was like, I've seen this before, and then it keeps going, and then it's shots of them in Europe. I'm like, what's going on? And then like I'm sitting there, everyone's like looking at the screen. They're like, new Spider-Man trailer, and I'm like, they just played the wrong fucking trailer. Are you kidding me? And I was so cheesed. I was like, I wanted to see that IMAX trailer of Spider-Man No Way Home so you can see that the guy leaning on the table is not Charlie Cox. Still think he's in the movie though.
Mm.
Yeah,
So many,
I don't
so
know. I
many
think
people.
I just really think that Marvel has got to be careful with how much they push the progressive envelope.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because while it needs to happen, I think too much all at once might turn off a good chunk of people.
Exactly.
Which I mean, again, I caveated to earlier to see if you had watched Arrow, but I think the CW runs into that problem a lot,
Especially recently.
Yeah, and I don't. I just think they need to watch that, and they need to be careful not to introduce too many new characters before another event type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'll say that just on the first point to start, like I completely agree with that. I think if you're gonna throw like a bunch of really like PC stuff in, people are gonna have a reaction to it. That's just what we've seen, and it's either gonna be it's gonna be a really good one or it's gonna be a really bad one. There's gonna be almost no in betweens. But
None.
I'll say at least if I mean I'm personally like I'm a straight white dude. Like a lot of this stuff, like it doesn't really relate to me honestly. But like I don't really care as long as it feels natural in the course of the story and with the characters. Personally, in Eternals, I thought it did. I thought it was perfect. But I'm not gonna lie, there was a scene in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which we did kind of talk about. Like when the cops just kind of pull up on Bucky and Sam, and they're just talking. It's like, okay, I get this happens, but it's not. It wouldn't be like that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not really the type of person that could say that I've been in that experience because I definitely haven't.
Yeah.
But just maybe for my short-sightedness, I just kind of thought like that seems unrealistic.
I think you're right.
I don't know if it seems unrealistic, but I think based off the events of the year leading into that show premiering, it felt almost forced.
Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
Yeah. I think that's right. It needs to feel natural.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, well, like you said, Bill, it just feels forced and just feels
Yeah.
awkward in the film or TV show that it's in. It does need to be natural. But very much like you, Tom, I'm a straight white guy, and I don't see these things and feel these things like other people probably, and they might have very different opinions on the matter. So it's difficult certainly for me to comment on it too much. But I think the only thing I can say is let it be natural.
Yeah.
Bring them in, but yeah, let it be natural and not forced.
Like
And
the
I think you're right,
A-Force
Phil.
scene.
It can there could be a backlash if they go full on. And I get people want that, but to go full on sort of PC or whatever, do need to be a bit careful, I would say.
Because we're
And
even
I think, honestly, when you look at the examples of them bringing in inclusivity and, different demographic groups, the examples of them doing it naturally are as good as it gets.
yeah.
I mean, Shang-Chi, their first, fully Asian-led film, that was a great film.
Oh yeah. Still, I'm gonna die on the hill. Best hand-to-hand combat in the MCU so far.
Oh, 100%. 100%. The only thing that comes close to it, I would say, are some of the fight scenes from Winter Soldier.
Yep.
But then, Black Panther, another example, their first primarily African American cast.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic film, won an Academy Award.
Yeah.
It's first MCU film to win one.
Yeah, I think it's the only MCU film to win one.
Oh yeah.
So I think those kinds of examples are what they need to continue to do. The Falcon Winter Soldier thing was just forced. It really was.
Forced, didn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, even Loki, that was natural and seamless. They just kind of give the quick kind of step and talk about that.
Yeah.
Now, there was one example in Falcon and Winter Soldier that did feel very natural, and to me, and that was when Walker gets the guy with the shield, and everybody's sitting there with their phone. To me, that did feel natural because 100% that's exactly how that would happen.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like it's a human reaction, and then obviously to be amplified by the super soldier serum, and obviously not a perfect replication of the super soldier serum.
No,
we saw Schmidt.
From a reaction standpoint, that's exactly how bystanders would react in today's day and age. They would immediately start recording it.
Yep.
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
Which I guess is you know what, I'm not going to get too much into Eternals. There's just some things that happen there that like they kind of give a little tease that it's being reported on, but I think it's going to be an overarching thing going through movies that maybe if we don't even see the Eternals specifically, we'll see news clips of this emergence.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. I mean,
and honestly, I could see that being a way to subtly connect the films more without having to mash too many of the actors into the films the way because I think they came to a point where they realized after the Avengers film that it doesn't make sense for not more of these people to show up when these events start happening. It did not make sense in the Dark World that none of the rest of the Avengers showed up. It didn't make sense. I mean, okay, Cap, Natasha, Hawkeye, even Banner to an extent might have had some trouble just popping over to London like that. But we've seen Iron Man go supersonic. He could have made it to London. It made no sense to me that Iron Man didn't show up to a giant spaceship invading London because his entire overarching theme in the MCU was protecting the world from the threat that was coming from outer space.
Exactly.
And I think they realized that, which is why you started having at least one other Avenger character in every consecutive movie. Natasha being in Winter Soldier, Hulk being in Ragnarok, all of them being in Civil War, the Falcon scene in Ant-Man.
Oh, I love that.
All of those things that they realized that they started doing to make sure everything was staying connected. But I think they're also starting to realize now almost a third evolution of that that's a lot more money that we're paying these actors when we could just pop to a TV showing a newsreel and use the same footage from the film, and just have it be played out that way. Okay, so this is happening. Not only that, but it'll also lend itself easily to knowing, timeline wise, what events happen in what chronological order, because as we get further and further down the line, it gets cloudier and cloudier. Okay, this movie takes place before this one and then this one, and so
But with the multiverse as well, it's going to get even more confusing.
Oh boy.
Well, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I know.
Because Chris, I know you're one of the people who aren't too excited for the multiverse, or haven't been when it was originally announced.
No, I'm nervous about how they're going to deal with it, because I'm worried, and I'd like to think Marvel aren't going to do this, but they can do a lot of resets and restarts, and it's an easy way to bring people in. We talked about the Fantastic Four and X-Men. It is an easy way to bring them in, and I just think that's too easy. It needs to be done a little bit more natural than just, oh well, we've got a multiverse now, and there's a universe over there that has Fantastic Four. Let's bring them in. It just seems very easy, that. But I was against originally. I was against having 3 Spider-Mans in Far From Home, but No Way Home. And now I'm just well in with the hype, and I'm going to be disappointed if I don't see them now. So I still think it's going to be. They'll bring. I don't think they're going to be in the full film. I think it's going to be towards the end, maybe the final third, where they'll come in. I still think they're going to focus on Tom Holland.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I think I was very apprehensive about multiverse stuff to begin with as well. Actually, DC is what has changed my mind on multiverse in properties nowadays, because the way they've handled it has been pretty good going up to this point. Between the TV shows and now the Flashpoint movie, and the way they're going about it is these characters are interacting, but they're still separate in a sense. So they're going to have Ben Affleck in the Flash as the Batman we all know from the Snyderverse, but they're also going to have Michael Keaton, and it's going to be like picking up with Keaton's Batman after the Burton films. So all of that, all the Burton happened exactly as you saw them, and now this is happening to both. It's over. They may or may not go back to their own universes, and things continue there. And I'd be okay with them touching on things like that in Multiverse of Madness. If they want to have these guys interact with the Fox guys, and that's the only Fox we get in the MCU.
That's what I hope.
I'd be okay with that.
But they go over and they meet Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman and get their help this part of the movie, and then they bounce back and they're with the original Fox Fantastic Four, and they get them, and that could be how they get Chris Evans to cameo as Johnny Torch again. Just things like that. We can see those characters again, get that nostalgia, but by the end of the film, we're firmly back in the MCU.
That would work for me, actually.
They're probably, I completely agree with that, and maybe they leave the possibility for the multiverse that it could still be explored, but it's not going to be as crashing into one another like we kind of saw at the end of Loki with the timelines.
I mean, in the early days of, well, no, I wouldn't say the early days, but the peak years of what I would consider the CW's Arrowverse, the way they approached the multiverse in that whole thing with Arrow and the Flash and Supergirl and all that, I think is the perfect approach to take.
Yeah.
Where all these characters know each other and know about the other worlds, but they still just go about their day-to-day business
Mhm.
on their world.
One more.
And occasionally they can pop over and say, "Hey, can you come help me with this?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I think one thing Marvel has kind of, I wouldn't even really say an advantage of, but just the fact that, like, of Nexus beings in general, like, it's really, they're the only ones who can kind of exist, like, throughout the multiverse and just kind of go at will. So there won't be too many of that in general, because all we know right now is Scarlet Witch, that's it. Like, Strange, because he's not Sorcerer Supreme yet, he's technically not a Nexus being.
Yeah.
No. And then, I mean, the Watcher,
Yeah,
but
that's it. Oh,
Yeah.
Infinite Ultron, I guess, kind of.
Mm.
And I guess maybe that Demon Strange or Cthulhu Strange, Lovecraftian
yeah,
Strange. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you guys have anything else you want to add though? I feel like maybe we're getting to the end of our topics. So I guess we'll close this out then and then also record the intro. So
Yeah.
if you've made it this far, the beginning part was recorded right after this. Little
Yeah.
the more you know. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Of course, you can join us on the MCU Fans Assemble group on Facebook. You can also find me. My name is Tom on Twitter at tsteinman13. Of course, Chris and Bill. Do you guys want to link your plugs?
Uh, don't have much to link other than you can find me in the group on Facebook right now.
Awesome.
And I'm always on there. I'm always looking and be more than happy to talk about anything we brought up in the podcast or any other theories you guys might have that we should discuss on future episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm on Facebook as well, and also on Twitter at Bag1982. So catch me on there.
Sweet. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.